What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 22 of our Cincinnati Reds franchise. In this one, we're going to be talking about some of you guys' comments and your suggestions, as well as the rationale behind what decisions I decided to make. Nothing has been transacted quite yet. There are offers on the table, but I have not simulated past when you guys last saw episode 21 so that we can actually see if those moves are going to pan out. Let's first talk about the arbitration screen. So you guys can see up here, I offered arbitration to both Dave Sclafani and Billy Hamilton, $700,000 more than what Hamilton made last season. So now he's being offered 5.2 and $500,000 more to Dave Sclafani. If you guys remember, just as the asterisk says at the bottom, all contracts awarded via arbitration are for one season only. So Billy Hamilton is, in my mind, he's a one-year player, and then he's going to be 29 years old. And if you guys will look and see kind of my thought process here, he's asking for $11.5 million a year. That's a lot. As you guys mentioned before, that's a lot for a center fielder who's, I don't want to say he's a one-trick pony, but it kind of is. He's really, really good defensively, but the only part of his offensive game is stealing bases, and it requires you to get on base in order to steal those bases. And quite frankly, 258, it's pretty solid, but the OBP is 310, 299, 274. Like, that's not good. So Billy is mostly a one-year player in my mind. I don't want to be spending $11.5 million on a player. Even if we wanted to get him for 3 years, he's still looking for about $10.4 million. I have no idea if that's just part of the overall rating is a reason why he wants that kind of money. But, like you said, guys, you can find other center fielders out there that can easily play the position. Like, I don't know, AJ Pollock is a free agent in this franchise series, and he can play some really good defense. He always has been able to do that, and he gets on base, he hits for power, he steals some bases, so he's more of an overall type of player. Heck, even Leonys Martin for the Detroit Tigers can hit the ball, can steal some bases, and play good defensively. So you guys are right in that aspect. All right, moving on. So I did offer Jose Peraza a extended contract, so for 4 seasons at $3.5 mil. That works to around $875,000 per year. So that's actually a really good offer for Peraza, I feel like, because if you guys look and see his arbitration offer, is he made $780,000 last year, and to secure him at 4 seasons for $875,000, that's a steal, guys. Look at the production and the progression that Peraza had from last season. Look at the power numbers. Went up 17 points between righty and lefty power, and everything else increased except for stealing and base running aggressiveness. But look at the production for Peraza. Yeah, the stolen bases went down, but the home runs went up, RBIs went up, runs went up, and he can play some center field for us too, right? I mean, he can fill in that gap if we really need him to eventually at center field, unless Taylor Trammell takes that over. And so Peraza gives us some flexibility. He gives us some stability. He's a good player, young player. Want to be able to center our offense around Peraza. Not center the entire offense around him, but build the offense with Peraza, I guess you could say. So a lot of guys were talking in the comment section about getting rid of Scooter Gennett. And to me, I feel like, if I'm being honest, guys, Scooter Gennett is an offensive talent. He knows what to do with the bat. He's so talented in what he does. And looking at what Scooter can do, he didn't produce this season by far. 244, 72 ribbies, 17 home runs. I mean, you can't really fault him for the run production, but the batting average was not what Scooter Gennett is really known for. That production, that 244, is not Scooter-esque, I guess you could say. But you guys look at him, he's 28 years old, 78 overall. I think Scooter, he's a winner. He's a winning type of player, a guy that you need on your roster, on your team to win a World Series. I really believe that. He's gritty. He's a fan favorite. He works hard, plays hard, no quit. He's just a guy that you want to have in your clubhouse. And I think Gennett is a guy that we need to re-sign. So you guys can see I offered him a $24 million for 4 seasons. That's a little bit less than what he was looking for. I would go back in to make an offer, but it's going to reset what I already offered him. So I don't want to do that. But so it's a little bit less than what he was looking for. But honestly, guys, we were talking about moving Peraza to second because of his arm strength, which is not a bad idea. Don't get me wrong. And then shortstop would be opened up for Nick Senzel for some playing time. But the same argument could be said if you guys wanted to go with Senzel at splitting time with third, making sure Suarez gets healthy and not fatigued. You could have Peraza and Senzel splitting some time. You could also have Peraza moving to backup second baseman and splitting some time with Gennett because Gennett's a lefty, Peraza's a righty. You could even make the argument that Peraza could go to backup center field behind Billy Hamilton and give Hamilton some time off because honestly, we don't really have another outfielder that bats right-handed. We got Jesse Winker who bats left. We got Schebler who bats left. So out in the outfield, the only right-handed hitters that we have on the team right now are Billy Hamilton, and I think Taylor Trammell even bats left. So that's kind of a problem. Thomas Moore, our draft pick from last season, even bats left. Tyler Goodell's the only other guy in the outfield that bats right-handed other than Jose Siri, who's really not ready, and Aquino, who's honestly, he's still not even ready. So yeah, it's kind of a situation, kind of an issue. But I mean, heck, you might even consider the fact that Gennett could move from second base and play left field and take over the job from Jesse Winker. And if you guys look at the arm and the fielding and the reaction time, Gennett's a little bit better, but he's also a better hitter than Jesse Winker is. And I know for a fact that Scooter Gennett has played some outfield in his career. Gennett might be able to move to left field as well, or even right field and move Schebler over to left. I mean, there's so many options that you can do on the corner outfield spots. But I don't think getting rid of Scooter Gennett is the answer. I really don't. So I'm going to try to re-sign him. I hope he re-signs because, like I said, he's definitely a guy that I want to bring back. Kyle Crockett, that offer works to be around $500,000 per season. Schebler, I did not make an offer to, arbitration or an offer. I'm going to save that for you guys in the advising section to cover that. 5 years, he's going to be 33 years old. He's only asking for 1.3 mil. Even if he's down to 3 years, he's really only asking for $570 per year, which is like really good. I think that I should just probably do it on my own. But offering him arbitration gets to about $540. And you guys remember that if you offer arbitration, it's only for 1 season though. So the fact that you push it down here to 4 years, you could get Scott Schebler here at $550 for 4 years versus his arbitration, which is $570, $580, $590 for 1 season, right? So I think it only makes sense to sign Schebler for a long-term deal. Just depends on what you guys are thinking. Brandon Finnegan, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't really know what to do with him right now because $2.4 million doesn't seem like a lot, but for a guy that doesn't look like he's going to figure it out to become a starting pitcher in the major leagues, he's going to be kind of like a bullpen guy. $2.4 million in a depth or a bullpen role is kind of a lot to me. So if we offered arbitration, he'd probably be about $620,000. But again, that'd be for 1 season. Michael Lorenzen, 4 years at 7.8. I will back out and show you guys this. So 4 years, 7.8 works to about $2 million a year. That's pretty fair in my mind. And then Vance Worley, Phil Gosselin, and Tony Cruz, I'm probably just going to let these guys go. I mean, Phil Gosselin for sure. Tony Cruz probably. Vance Worley I'm still kind of on the fence about. And then, yeah, so that's what I want to talk to you guys about, the arbitration screen. Let's go to tender contracts, and then we'll go into free agent talks. The contract renewable screen, if you guys are kind of not familiar with how it works, I could technically offer any of these players a one-year deal and go all the way down to something that I know they're not going to accept, but it still counts as an offer made, right? So basically, I'm not going to lose Luis Castillo to free agency now that I have an offer placed on him. Like I made an offer to Luis Castillo, and even after December 2nd, he's not going to become a free agent because I offered him something, right? So basically what this tender contracts is that I can make that offer to these players and they're not going to become free agents. It's kind of just locking us in to negotiate renewable contract. But the only downside of that is if I do that and it becomes after December 2nd, then I can renew their contract, but it's only going to be for one season, which kind of sucks. So a guy like Luis Castillo, I really don't want to do that. I want to be able to sign him to a long-term deal like this one in order to secure him for the future. And honestly, getting a guy like Castillo with $4.4 million per year, that's kind of a steal as well. So, but right now I'm just going to leave Castillo's offer, let's say, for 4 seasons. I don't want him to be the ace because they're probably, even though he wants to be the ace, you know, we're trying to get better there, right? So let's go with 17 mil for Luis Castillo. Sal Romano is kind of an interesting story. What do you guys think as far as the advisors go? Do you think we should probably try to renegotiate his contract or renew his contract to 1 year? Or do you want to sign him for a longer term? Not even asking for that much money, but, you know, and he's okay with being a part of the depth. So he's okay with being a bullpen guy. Zach Weiss, probably should offer him a tender contract for sure. Probably 3 years. I like those 3-year deals. We don't want to offer him 1.1. Let's knock this down to a little bit. Ooh, wow. You can really knock him down. Let's just, well, that might be misleading. So let's just go 250, and he should accept that. Wandy Peralta, probably would have to focus on him. Robert Stevenson, should probably get him signed up. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. That one right there. Amir Garrett, $880 at 2 years. Austin Bryce, we can probably focus on him. Jesse Winker, Pavin Smith, Male Herrera, Trammell, Aquino, Shed Long. Like, yeah, I mean, Kevin Maitan. So a lot of these contracts are really kind of a bare minimum, like Maitan, $880 for 1 year. But I'm just showing you guys these, kind of get an idea of what we're looking at for episode 23 when we finally get past this screen. So yeah, so that's your tender contracts. All right, so a lot of you guys were talking about the pitching staff, and I really appreciate that kind of talk because if you guys look at the roster right now, Castillo, DeSclafani, Romano, Finnegan, Garrett. Obviously not the best starting pitching rotation that there ever was, so trying to get a top-of-the-line starter is probably the best bet. A lot of you guys were talking about Chris Sale, Keuchel, Corbin, even Jaime Garcia's name was thrown out there. The only thing with Jaime Garcia for me is that he's got a qualifying offer right there, right? So if we made an offer on him, we'd have to give up a draft pick. And honestly, don't really want to give up a draft pick for a guy like Jaime Garcia, who's 75 overall. You know, so he'd fit right in to be our number 3 guy. But he's also 32 years old, right? When you could probably try to get a guy like Dallas Keuchel, who's an 88, and he's 1 year younger, and losing a draft pick, right? So Dallas Keuchel would probably be the guy that I would that I would really go after here. Chris Sale's asking for a lot of money, guys, and that would really just kind of break our bank for sure. So I really don't want to do Chris Sale. I think if I were to go after a guy, it would either be Keuchel, Corbin, Happ, maybe even Charlie Morton, but it's 35 years old. It's pretty old for a pitcher, but I know Charlie Morton is really good. He's having a heck of a season here for the Houston Astros. Patrick Corbin is a younger guy, lefty, throws hard. Has had some injury concerns in the past, but Corbin definitely would be a stellar pitcher for us in a Reds uniform. Brandon McCarthy's interesting, though. Even though he's also a 35, you know, his control is 74, 81 velocity, compared to Morton's 60 and 78. You know, Brandon McCarthy is pretty solid. So, but, I mean, you guys can see he's starting to regress a little bit. But look at the control numbers there. 72, 27 walks. 124, 49. The numbers there are not bad at all for a starting pitcher. Like, put the ball in play, let your defense make plays, and you'll be fine. You'll get out of some, you sneak some W's out. So McCarthy would be a guy that would fit right in. He'd be our number 3 guy behind DeSclafani. You could even roll with Jay Happ, who's 78 and 36 years old. But yeah, I mean, he's awesome too. Jay Happ knows how to pitch. And that's, at this point, that's kind of what we're really needing, is guys that know how to pitch, know how to get it done at the major league level, rather than having to rely on a lot of our younger guys. Maybe they can teach them the ropes. But I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and make this offer to Dallas Keuchel, because that's what we want to do. And honestly, I think I'm just going to go all in. I'm going to go all in for Dallas Keuchel and bump that interest up. I'm going to give him a player option as well. Let's go with $71 million player option. He will be our ace. $14.2 million per year. Cash flow gets knocked down from 2.4 to 1.9. Let's do it. Let's go all in for Dallas Keuchel. And I think if this doesn't go through, we're going to have to try to rely on trying to get a guy like Brandon McCarthy, Jay Happ, or even Jaime Garcia. That's not ideal, but I think it's something that we really need to address. We have to close in on this offer. You guys were talking about getting some relief options as well. I'm not too interested in anybody below a 74. We need to really hit hard on the bullpen, and I think that a guy that we want to go after is Trevor Rosenthal. He didn't pitch at all for a team in our franchise series here in 2018, but look at his numbers there, guys. I mean, the guys that suggested Rosenthal, you know what you're going to get. 48 saves, 45 saves. Obviously didn't have that good of years in 2017, 2016, but we know what Trevor Rosenthal is made of. We know what he can do. He'd be huge. He would be a huge get for this bullpen. We could probably even spot start, but not even spot start. I didn't mean that, but closer by committee. This bullpen, we could have Rosenthal go some games. We could have Lorenzen go some games, and really kind of split time between the two of them. Really bump that overall up, try to get their confidence going, get their statistics right in line with some attribute pluses. And we're not giving up a draft pick for Brock or Andrew Miller or things like that. So let's go ahead and try to offer a deal for Trevor Rosenthal. I don't want to do anything past 5 years. I think that's kind of crazy. So let's go with 3 years. Let's really go all in and try to get him. Let's go $3 million a year. Boom. $9 million for 3 years for Trevor Rosenthal. I think that's pretty good move. You guys were talking about possibly Cody Allen, Kelvin Herrera. I don't want to go after like a big-time closer. I think the Rosenthal thing makes sense because he's not a big-time closer. But going after Cody Allen or Herrera, we got rid of Raisel Iglesias for a reason, right? So trying to bring in one of these two guys back into the closing role it kind of defeated the purpose of Lorenzen kind of trying to take on that closing role. You could probably argue against me with the Rosenthal move here, but just looking at it, 77 overall, and he's not really taking the job away from Lorenzen. It's only as a security blanket in case Lorenzen either gets hurt or he falters and doesn't get the job done. Then you got your backup option with Rosenthal at closer. So those are the offers, guys, for free agents right now. So Keuchel and Rosenthal. I love AJ Pollock, but I just don't think he fits with the team as it stands right now unless we try to make some trades, which again, I'm trying to keep this realistic here, and I don't think the Reds are going to go off trading all these other people just to be able to sign AJ Pollock or Bryce Harper, right? But you guys did make a good point. You really did, because after Joey Votto retires, who is the face of the Reds franchise? I can't think of anybody at this point. The only guys I could really think of would be Luis Castillo, but he doesn't have a lot of personality, right? I mean, that might be the wrong word for it, but Joey Votto is a face of a franchise, just like a Miguel Cabrera, just like a Bryce Harper, just like a Paul Goldschmidt. I bring up Goldschmidt a lot, just like a Dustin Pedroia. I don't think, or David Ortiz, the Reds after Joey Votto don't really have a guy like that. So going after a guy like Bryce Harper, Charlie Blackmon, Manny Machado, you guys have made a lot of sense when trying to think about going after these type of players. I think Dallas Keuchel would be that guy for a little while, but it's not a long-term solution, right? Manny Machado or Bryce Harper, being 26 years old each, would be a face of the franchise. So, yeah, you guys are making a lot of sense with that. Let me know in the comments section below what you think we should do with this. Do we really want to go after Machado or Bryce Harper? I think it makes sense. It really does. But again, I'm trying to keep it realistic, and you're gonna have to break the bank for those guys for sure. Last thing before we end this episode is a lot of you guys were talking about bringing Josh Harrison back. I love this idea. When I was looking through the free agent lists before I was making this video, even before I was looking at you guys' comments, I'm like, Josh Harrison, that'd be a really good get for a Reds team. And then I saw that, yeah, he's from Ohio, but he's looking to play every day. And if we try to move him to kind of a platoon or a depth role, his status of his expectation and his category of his role, it kind of takes a big hit. We'd have to pay him some more money just to satisfy him. And, we're already been at that point, we're dishing out $4.7 million per year for him. I think the good thing about Josh Harrison being on a Reds team would be he could be our starting left fielder over Jesse Winker, and he might even be able to platoon. So platoon was an option. We could tell him every day, but then we could pretty much just platoon him with Winker because Winker's a lefty, Harrison's a righty. So Josh Harrison might be an outfield option that we really don't have. We don't have a right-handed batter in the outfield. And then obviously he can play third, short, second base is his primary position. But yeah, Josh Harrison would be a good get. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and offer him a contract per your guys' approval. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So before we end the episode, let's just simulate past a day and see where things are at. Maybe even a couple days, see if we end up signing Dallas Keuchel or if he rejects it. If he rejects it, we're going to have to think of something else. So let's go ahead and sim. All right, so Chris Sale signs on the first day to the Blue Jays for a 9-year deal with $219 million. That's huge, guys. The Blue Jays making moves. All right, so then let's check this out now. So Luis Castillo is now a Cincinnati Red again. Wilson Contreras re-signs with the Cubs. Jose Altuve signs an 11-year deal with $341 million. Holy crap, Jose Altuve. Well deserved. Well deserved. Corey Seager is re-signed, avoiding arbitration. And then obviously Chris Sale, you guys saw that. So just one more thing. Just want to check out and see if any more movement's been made. So Andrew Miller getting a lot of offers from the Mets, Angels, and Yankees. Allen for Texas, Washington, and New York. Keuchel, we're still at the top of the leaderboard there. Machado offered by the Orioles. And looks like nobody else down here. Let's get any offers. Rosenthal definitely getting some offers now. He's got one by us and one by the Padres. Hopefully we stick around there. Let's see, Josh Harrison. No offers yet for Josh Harrison. So let's go ahead and sim yet again. Boom, baby. Let's go. We got it. So Dallas Keuchel is a Cincinnati Red. Get some NL Central because we're coming for you. 18-9 season last year. 3.5 ERA, 169, 88 overall pitcher. Awesome stuff. Welcome, Dallas Keuchel. You are a Cincinnati Red. Good stuff. I think that's pretty good to end the episode on. One more thing, just kind of looking at where we're at here with free agency. Looks like everybody else doesn't have an offer on them. Rosenthal's nipping at our heels here. 2.5 for 1 year. We might want to change that for Rosenthal. Let's just change that. So they're off in 2.5. Let's offer him 2.8 at 1 year. And the role is let's go depth. Let's go depth role. 2.8 at 1 year. I think that's going to be okay. We might need to overpay, though. We might need to overpay. I don't want another team swooping in there on simulation. So $3 million at 1 year. It was $3 million for 3 years, but I think he might take that. So let's again check out Josh Harrison. So nothing still going on. So I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. I really do. Because we got Dallas Keuchel. That's awesome. That's really going to help us out. Our starting pitching for sure. Keuchel, Castillo, DeSclafani, Romano. Awesome. So next episode. Ooh, I didn't want to do that. So next episode, we'll see if we get Trevor Rosenthal. And post in the comments below, guys, if you want me to go after Bryce Harper or Manny Machado. Maybe just go ahead and sign Josh Harrison to move him to the outfield. Maybe even we trade Scooter Gennett, or we move Gennett to the outfield and put Josh Harrison at second base. I mean, it's wide open, guys. It really is. So I'll see you guys in episode number 23. Today is Thursday. You guys will see the next video on Sunday. So I'll give you guys some time to digest this thing. Give me some time to kind of reanalyze, because I do like to go in and see kind of what's going on with some teams here. Try to look at some trade opportunities and so on and so forth. So that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys liked. Leave a like if you did. And I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, peace.